Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this session, let's know about one of the automation tool, Jenkins. Before that, if you're still not subscribed to my channel, subscribe now. Let's begin the session. What is Jenkins? Jenkins is a self-contained open source automation server which can be used to automate all sorts of tasks related to building, testing, and delivering or deploying software. Jenkins is a Java-based open-source, free-to-use automation platform with plugins designed for continuous integration and continuous delivery practices in software development. It is used to continually create and test software projects, making it easier for developers and DevOps engineers to integrate changes to the project and for consumers to get a new build. Kohazuke Kawaguchi. The Jenkins project was started in 2004, originally called Hudson's, by Kohazuke Kawaguchi. By integrating with various build tools, version control systems, and test frameworks, Jenkins enables developers to automate repetitive tasks, such as building the application, running tests, and deploying to production. This automation helps to increase productivity, ensure code quality, and enable faster delivery of software updates. What is continuous integration? Continuous integration (CI) is a process aimed to cutting out build cycle inefficiencies by allowing developers to compile the team's code from a shared version control repository. Here, version control system or version control repository is used to keep track of versions of set of files, usually to allow multiple developers to collaborate on a project. For example, GitHub is a cloud-based hosting service that lets you manage Git repositories. CI continuous integration allows you to automate testing, so you can set up the system to automatically run unit tests or integration tests. CI automatically monitors the commits that each engineer makes. This streamlines the build and verification of code so that testing is not so high stakes. Here, the code commit refers to the process of submitting changes made to a code repository. That's why continuous integration is recognized as best practice in the software development community. CI is run on a shared server that increases visibility, so all the engineers on a project are aware of changes in the base code day in, day out. In addition, you can configure the server to alert developers when they submit failing code so that they can fix any errors they introduce. How does CI/CD benefit DevOps team? A lot of people talk about CI because it is best practice to have all code verified automatically on every commit, regularly run tests, and continuously deploy for the reasons mentioned above. The process checks that the contributions from each developer work well together. Detecting these issues early makes it easier and faster to fix the bugs. How Jenkins works. First of all, a developer commits the code to the source code repository. Meanwhile, the Jenkins checks the repository at regular interval of changes. Soon after a commit occurs, the Jenkins server finds the changes that have occurred in the source code repository. Jenkins will draw those changes and will start preparing a new build. If the build fails, then the concerned team will be notified. If build is successful, then Jenkins server deploys the build in the test server. After testing, Jenkins server generates a feedback and then notifies the developers about the build and test results. We will continue to verify the source code repository for changes made in the source code, and the whole process keeps on repeating. The prerequisites to install the Jenkins: a machine with at least 256 MB of RAM, a drive with a 10 GB space to host the Docker image and Jenkins, Java 17 or 11, and Docker image. To download and run Jenkins, download the Jenkins generic java.var package, go to the download directory and open a terminal and run the package. To download and run Jenkins, run the below command, navigate to the local host and follow the installation instructions. Scripted and declarative syntax options. You can write a Jenkins file in either a scripted or declarative pipeline syntax. The syntax determines how the pipeline is constructed. Declarative pipelines are a more recent innovation. So, what is Jenkins pipeline? Jenkins pipeline, or simply pipeline, is a suite of plugins which supports implementing and integrating continuous delivery pipelines into Jenkins. A Jenkins pipeline includes all the tools you need to orchestrate testing, merging, packaging, shipping, and code deployment that offer richer syntax features than scripted pipelines and make it easier to write and read the pipeline code. Regardless of whether you choose a scripted or declarative pipeline, the syntax comprises multiple individual components known as steps that are written in the Jenkins file. Jenkins Architecture. Jenkins follows master-slave architecture to manage distributed builds. In this architecture, slave and master communicate through TCP/IP protocol. Jenkins architecture has two components: Jenkins master or server, Jenkins slave or node. Jenkins master. The main server of Jenkins is the Jenkins master. It is a web dashboard which is nothing but powered from a WAR file. By default, it runs on 8080 port. With the help of dashboard, we can configure the jobs or projects, but the build takes place in nodes or slave. The server's jobs or master job is to handle scheduling build jobs, dispatching builds to the nodes or slaves for the actual execution. Second one is to monitor the nodes or slaves. Next one is to recording and presenting the build results. A master server instance of Jenkins can also execute build jobs directly. Jenkins slave. The Jenkins slave is used to execute the build jobs dispatched by the master. We can configure a project to always run on a particular slave machine or particular type of slave machine, or simple let the Jenkins to pick the next available slave or node. How Jenkins helps the Bugfender team. Running Jenkins allows us to continuously check that the code compiles and run a set of basic tests that we have programmed to verify the base code after every commit. We automatically deploy the merged code to an integration environment which can be used for manual test. This bit called continuous delivery. Jenkins CLI. CLI refers to command line interface. Jenkins has a built-in command line interface that allows users and administrators to access Jenkins from a script or shell environment. This can be convenient for scripting of routine tasks, bulk updates, troubleshooting, and more. The commands which are commonly used. Jenkins has a number of built-in CLI commands which can be found in every Jenkins environment. First one, build command. One of the most common and useful CLI commands is build, which allows the user to trigger any job or pipeline for which they have permission. Second one, console. Similarly useful is the console command, which retrieves the console output for the specified build or pipeline run. When no build number is provided, the console command will output the last completed build's console output. Command Who am I? The Who am I command is helpful for listing the current user's credentials and permissions available to the user. Advantages of Jenkins. It is an open source tool, so it is free of cost, easily configurable. It is easy to install and easy to configure. It is built in Java and hence it is portable one. It has easy support since it is open source and widely used. Jenkins also supports cloud-based architecture so that we can deploy Jenkins in cloud-based platforms. It is platform independent. It is available for all platforms and different operating systems like OS, like Windows or Linux. Disadvantages of Jenkins. Its interface is outdated and not user-friendly compared to current user interface trends. Not easy to maintain it because it runs on a server and requires some skills as server administrator to monitor its activity. Thanks for watching. If this video is helpful to you, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.